Hello again and welcome to Lesson 8 Continued. We just finished painting our main hero soldier there in the center, right underneath the claw of the giant evil robot. And what we're going to do now is address the ground plane beneath him. So I'm going to flip on my line drawing real quick and going to look for that shape. This ground plane is really just a giant wedge shape. And we'll trace it out and begin working inside of it. Very good. Turn the line drawing off. And fill it with a darker tone. Bring the brightness down quite a bit. To about there. Maybe we'll switch the hue up a little bit too, to get more towards the greens. Now we'll begin making our new layers and parenting them, and defining the highlight shape that will make the sort of spotlight area where the focal point light is pointing. So now referencing our line art, we can make that shape. And we'll squash it just a little bit and move it down. And fill it. Take this soldier as well and move him up. Right there. Now I want to cut away at this highlight shape with something that looks a little natural, like a grass brush like this. This is a default Photoshop brush, by the way, which a lot of coworkers and I actually kind of joke about. You know, if you can pull off using a standard brush well, it's really an achievement. So I try, and actually I like them. There's some really good ones in there. So this is it's kind of like a weed brush. It's like some weeds that might be growing out of a field or something. And I'm going to use it as an eraser here. Try to get some interesting shapes. Take the geometric lasso tool and begin kind of making these really odd and irregular angular shapes to cut into. Now it's a stylized way of rendering, and I think that's fine to stylize your rendering, but you know they're still working within the values, so that's really the key part. You can stylize your rendering, your coloring, and your design, but you cannot stylize your values. So I'm going all around this shape, making sure that it looks as though it's blended somewhat on all sides. It's looking good. And I'll take a sample of the highlight color there on the ground, bump it up a couple notches, pull out the old grass brush again, right there. Space it out a little bit, and begin running it through this area. Now we'll make a new layer and do the next brightest color in this spotlight area. And begin erasing away at it, again in the efforts of blending. Really is a lot of fun to actually make these shapes when I'm erasing things out or blending in this style. You get some really cool, bold, graphic shapes, and I think that's cool. It's nice when there are little design subtleties to everything in your painting. So I like where this is heading. Take the same grass brush again. Sample the newest value we have and bump it up a couple notches. And begin throwing down some grass. Now I don't want to paint every single blade of grass in this field. That would be overworked. I just want to do little accents here and there. Okay, make a new layer and parent it. And fill it. So we slowly worked our way up to this brightest value, which gave us a cool little gradation, and again only 3 values here. And I'll make a new layer. Take the grass brush we've been using. Start hitting some of the surrounding areas with that brush as well. Lace them down, erase away at them. And again, I'm just making another shape outside of all the shapes I've already made. trying to find the values in between the darkest colors and the lightest colors to make a smooth gradation. And I'll do it once again on another layer. I think it's looking good. So I'm going to just erase this one shape a little bit more. It's a little too geometric for my tastes. But I think we're in a good place. Now I'm going to merge this whole ground plane down. I like what I've got there. In fact, behind it, I'm going to use that same grass brush and really kind of make the edge of this field a little more interesting. It's just kind of a flat line right now, and I think it can be nicer than that. Fantastic. All right, I'll merge those two now. And now on a new layer, I'm going to paint the shadow of the giant robotic claw. Try to make it match up with the placement of the actual arm in the painting. Very cool. And now on a layer, I'll do the shadow of the soldier. Great. Very good. Merge those. And now I got my ground plane. I'm going to zoom out and see how it looks with a little more contrast in it. Yeah, I think that helps. And on top of it, I'm going to add the same sort of glowing effect with a soft brush that I did with the main soldier there. And I think it helps. Great. So now we've addressed the ground plane, and we'll end this lesson here, and next we'll move on to the secondary soldiers and robots.